Fundraising from friends and family offers several benefits. They are often more eager to invest in you as an individual, while a bigger investor may want a more established company. You may also be able to circumvent the stringent regulatory procedures that accompany the selling of other securities. Other advantages may include a more direct line of communication and longer investment horizons. However, in this video, we will discuss the main risks of accepting money from friends and family, and how to address those problems. The first problem we'll mention is that the upside is not as great as they believe. One of the primary disadvantages of combining money and business is the possibility of losing both. Indeed, connections are more important than money. Sadly, it has become a source of discord and disagreement between friends and family. If your business is not generating earnings, or if a family member or close friend is not receiving the anticipated benefit, it may lead to disagreements and ultimately destroy relationships. The second problem is that oftentimes family investors are unaware of the risks. Experienced startup investors are aware of these odds, which is why they construct a diversified portfolio with the expectation that the majority of their investments would fail. However, your friends and family may not have this plan in mind when they invest in your firm, so you need to consider the relationship dynamics during the next Thanksgiving meal. Ideally, you should have a clear communication with them beforehand in which they say something like, "Yes, I am aware that I will likely lose all of this money, but I am prepared to take that risk on you and your business." The third problem is that an accurate valuation is very difficult. It is hard to appropriately balance the risk potential of a startup with a suitable ownership position at the friends and family stage of investment. You should acquire all investors at a fair price from day one. Since the pre-money valuation for angel investors is often between $1 and $3 million, the pre-money valuation from friends and family could be between $250,000 and $1 million. The average amount raised from friends and family is between $25,000 and $150,000. The fourth problem is lack of understanding of the securities laws. The basic guidelines to keep in mind are: in order for your investors to make an educated investment choice, you must offer them with complete transparency via a prospectus or other ways. You are required to register with the SEC unless you meet the conditions of a specified exemption. The fifth common problem is interference. Friends and family who are not seasoned investors may need continuous updates or expect to participate in company decisions. While keeping them informed is beneficial, they should not interfere with your everyday operations. Create a shareholder agreement outlining voting rights and board membership. Allow a larger level of participation only if the investor has particular skills or expertise that you respect. Sixth risk is broken relationships. If your business is unsuccessful and you are unable to return investors' funds, negative sentiments may develop. If you give yourself a salary or do not utilize personal financial windfalls to repay investors, the danger is significantly bigger. You may also choose to establish repayment conditions using a promissory note that specifies the amount of time and interest rate required to get the money back. Consider using a convertible note if they are interested in equity, as stated before. Those were the 6 main risks of raising money from friends and family. Now, here are some tips to address the aforementioned risks in order to have a successful friends and family round. First of all, determine the amount required. Create a 4 to 6 month plan and establish how much cash will be required to purchase all necessary merchandise and assets, in addition to any funding required for early stage personnel. By being extremely rational with your first request, you will be in a better position to seek extra funds in a few months if the firm is still doing according to plan. Second, draft a business plan. You do not need a professionally designed PowerPoint or a high-budget presentation, but it is excellent if you can express your plans for the first 6 to 12 months. Include how you intend to use the initial cash, the equity choices that may be available, and the inherent risks. Despite the fact that you can't definitively quantify the worth of your concept or company, comparing what you're doing to that of rivals or comparable markets may be effective in persuading early investors to write you a check. Third, educate yourself on available methods of fundraising. The R. Equity. That's when investors become business partners and are entangled with the enterprise. You don't have to pay them until you earn a profit or cash out, but if you offer a friend or family an ownership position in your company, you are essentially making them a business partner. You should contact a business attorney for this. Gifts are another way of raising money. In principle, gifts are the easiest kind of investment. Someone presents you with money and the narrative ends there. They have faith in you and your goals and want your success. However, you should never underestimate human nature, and as a result, you still need to make a written agreement to ensure that both sides are fully aware that the gift giver will get nothing if the company is successful. When someone is interested in becoming an investor and wishes to obtain equity in return, a convertible note or convertible equity is often recommended. If your friends and family want to invest in exchange for equity, it is your job to outline the associated risks. Fourth tip is to create term sheets and repayment strategies. If you are securing a loan, with or without interest, you must design a repayment plan that is acceptable to both sides. By doing so, you lessen the danger to your personal connections, as everyone will be aware of and agree to the repayment date. A repayment strategy also prepares you for milestone loans. The term sheet will also include a description of the risks involved in the event that your investors do not get a return on their investment. Our fifth advice is to focus on the right individuals. Receiving a gift or a loan is straightforward, and you can nearly approach anybody you trust and who has adequate finances for assistance. When it comes to equity or convertible notes, however, more consideration is required. Who's a candidate with good business abilities who is aware of the risks and advantages of the venture. Remember that if your firm fails and you cannot return your debts, your relationships will suffer. Sixth tip is to present the pitch. When appropriate, make your pitch. In certain instances, investors may inquire directly how they can participate, which will simplify the procedure. Regardless of who makes the first move, concentrate on ownership shares. Complementary services or goods, future discounts, and other incentives you might give to assist get the sale closer to completion. But most importantly, explain clearly about your goal, how you will get there, and what you can assess at each step to demonstrate success. Seventh tip is to not over-dilute equity. If there is one major limitation to attracting investors via early equity shares, it is the need to arrange for an equity cap. Since a result, subsequent investment rounds will be simpler to get, as the equity will not be diluted early on. Equity may be a significant motivator for early-stage personnel, as well as future investments. Therefore, it is essential to be cognizant of this feature while recruiting early passive stakeholders. Eighth tip is to create a paper trail. Write everything down. It's that simple. Startups often put regulations and formalities on the back burner, which may lead to a much larger disaster in the future. If you have your finances and contracts in order, future investments will go much more smoothly. Ninth tip is to keep investors updated. Remember that one of the most important aspects of a friends and family round is that these are individuals with whom you already have a close connection. Due to the fact that these investors are invested in your success, it is a good idea to keep them informed and up to date on how things are moving. This is particularly vital for people who may own equity shares. Finally, the 10th tip is to consider other methods of fundraising. If you are undecided whether you want to seek money from friends and family, you may choose to contact institutional investors such as angel investors and venture capitalists. If you want to accept investments, it is prudent to retain legal counsel to avoid potential pitfalls. Even if you believe you've done all the necessary research, securities laws and investment contracts are complex enough so that there is a substantial possibility you'll overlook something that would be clear to an experienced attorney. Contact us at terms.law if you need help, and thank you for watching.